So welcome to Bunny's Designs. I've been wanting to make this video for a while with these particular pencils. This is the Merian Butterfly Colour Book, and I bought it at the Works, which is currently at £3, so that's quite a nice bargain. I wanted to do a colour flip, so I'm going to do a very quick colour flip because a little introduction into her. She was a butterfly and moth enthusiast, but she was also quite a good drawer as well and painter, so she kind of sketched things she found. And she travelled across Europe and South America in search of these fantastic insects, these butterflies and moths. So there's a key list of plates, and there's the name of the plant, the name of the caterpillar or butterfly, depending on what it is. So there's a good key there. So the first plate, and there's quite a few in here. There's 44, so that's quite a nice amount for £3. So the first page has got these pinks, where there will be a chrysalis and a caterpillar and a butterfly. Or a moth, the chrysalis, the caterpillar and the moth. And it's quite thick paper. It's about medium, so it would take a very light damp rigger, which is what I'm going to use with it. So initially I'd thought about using it for pastels, but I'm actually doing a book which was published by the same author, same printers, Acturus. This is probably a little bit thinner, I think, and these are all and they're very similar in colours, and I quite like this vintage colour, vintage colours, so I thought I would, but I've decided that I'm actually going to use my Derwent pencils, my watercolour pencils, in a completely different way. So I thought instead of scratching the colour on, I'm going to mix it on a palette. But I'll go through the book first, and you can see all these wonderful colours. Some are quite muted and some are quite bright, so again I quite like that idea. So I'm going to be colour matching as well, so it's going to take quite a while. Is this one? This isn't going to be a kind of a just throw on some colour. This is going to be proper watercolour, but very thin, so it's not going to damage the page. So you have all these wonderful illustrations. You have the colouring in page opposite, which again is quite nice, because if you're doing any kind of work, your reference wants to be next to you, so you're not constantly looking around. So it's worked out perfectly. Now, being left-handed, I would do it the other way, but of course that's just me. So there are some wonderful detailed watercolour sketches, fantastic colours as well. And I think with the 72 pencils, and I'm going to be mixing my own colours, they're going to have some really nice effects. I'll probably end up doing the pastel background, because it's difficult on a big surface to wet the area and not expect it to buckle, and I don't want to do that. So there's 10 more, and I would think that the plant is actually what the caterpillars live on when they hatch, or the chrysalis. So this is the first video where I'm trying to record in HD. Should be a slightly better quality video. So that's the last page. There's a practice page at the end, and quite a nice thick chunky book. So I'm actually going to start with number 1. And in part 2 I'll be zoomed in, ready to work. So what I've got here is my Derwent art bag, and inside I have my Graphitint pencils, and I have my Derwent watercolour pencils that are quite old, so they're very old, and they're cracking, but I'm not bothered about that. I've had them 20 odd years, if not more. And then my Inktense are in here as well. So these are my water-based pencils that I use a lot. But when I'm using them, the colour page, I like to flick. They're all in the same order, but what I tend to do is to flick them over and find the colour that I want. I need to flick that one over. And I find that easier. So I've got the pencil here, I've got the frame here, and then this is in the middle. Next to me I have my little ink pot of water, and I have several baby wipes which I've been using over the last week or so, and then there's a clean damp one on top. And then I've got to think about these paintbrushes. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the riggers actually. I might use something else because I'm going to be painting in a different way. We'll need the very fine 10-0 liner from De La Rowney because I like that one. And they're not so... I might actually use these 2 and 3. There are no kind of really big spaces. I'll have a go with these 3. There's the riggers, De La Rowney riggers graduate. 1, 2 and 3. It's not in order, is it? It's in order. There we go. 1, 2 and 3. And the last one is a little liner. It's not a rigger. And that's going to give me the very fine one. And when you wet them, they go into the shape that they are. So again, that's quite nice. I tried to put them down in order, and then when I want to pick it up, I know that that one's thinner, that one's thicker, and that one's the thickest. And then the smallest, I put them in that order actually. So the thinnest is always nearest me, and I have them next to me, so I can kind of put one down there and then pick the next one up. That's always easy. If they're like this, you're kind of messing about with them. So if they're here, sometimes that's a bit easier. So they're next to me, so that I can see them. So just here, I have my coffee, I have my water, I have my paintbrushes. I'm going to put them on the other side, but I thought they may fall off and they'll get on my nerves. And you really need to be comfortable when you're working. Oops, bits and pieces everywhere. And this is a tiny little colour travel brush, and so for really tiny spaces I'll probably be using that. I'll see how we get on. I always have that handy with me.